Hi guys, welcome to a special episode of Bike and Beyond because today marks the channel's 1 year anniversary on YouTube. So as a special thanks, I'm going to answer some of the questions that you guys have been sending in over the last couple of weeks and show you a bit of footage. Let's get to it. So thank you to everyone who sent questions in over the last couple of weeks through Instagram, Facebook and YouTube. I've got some of the best ones and we'll kick straight off with an easy one. So first question, why did you start YouTube? So yeah, I used to use YouTube, I still do, as a way of looking at other trails and seeing where I want to ride. And I basically started filming my own rides. It's just a way to document them and document my progress. As I watched more and more videos, I thought actually the ones that I make people might want to see. And it's just grown from there really. When did you start mountain biking and what bike did you have before the Bazango? My first bike was a Specialized hard rock. A buddy of mine had one. I tried it out a few times, thought it was great, got one for myself. Second hand, I got it for about 140 quid, so really not very expensive. And that was about 6 years ago now. I started riding, my first trail I rode was the Marin Trail in North Wales. I was living there at the time. I rode that. Was on my Specialized hard rock for about 2 years before it got stolen and then I broke my foot. So I had sort of 2 years off where I didn't ride at all. I've been back on the bike now for about a year and a half and I'm steadily progressing again. So do you work outside YouTube? Yes, I do. I work as a physiologist for a healthcare company. For the best part of 2020 now, I've been redeployed working with NHS patients as well. So it's been a bit of a busy year alongside YouTube. It's a common misconception that YouTube pays you thousands and thousands of pounds for putting videos up. Trust me, it doesn't happen. The American channel BKXC famously went sort of full time as a YouTuber at around 10,000 subscribers. And he basically said he used up all his savings trying to do it. So if you're watching anyone on YouTube with less than 10,000 subscribers, they definitely don't earn a full-time wage just from doing the YouTube alone. So yeah, I still have to work outside YouTube. Our next question is from a fellow YouTuber, so take it away.
Hey guys, this is Gaz from Adventure Trails MTV. Glad to be asking Ollie these questions. So Ollie, my question to you is, if you could go back to the start before you did your channel, started your channel, would you do anything differently?
Yeah, really good question. For me, I found that starting a YouTube channel is a sort of constant learning process. You know, you're learning how to edit, how to use a camera, how to upload things, you know, how YouTube works, all those sorts of things. And over the last year, I still feel like I'm on that sort of slope where I'm slowly getting better as I figure things out. Over the next year, I want to increase the sort of production value of what I produce, the quality of the videos. I want that to increase a lot. And for that, I'm going to need a new laptop and just better editing software. So that's my sort of plan over the next year. In terms of things that I would change and go back, apart from the quality of maybe some of my earlier videos, because they were on an older camera and rubbish editing software, and they just came out all grainy and not very good. I think those are some of the things that I would like to change, but there's nothing major. Ask me in about a year's time and I may have a different answer, but I'm pretty happy with the way things are going. How many rides do you do a week and do you use Strava? Firstly, yes, I do use Strava. I don't Strava all my rides because I basically just forget to turn it on half the time. This week I went on 2 rides. The first one was just a sort of wet and winter ride, just to see how my bike was kitted out ready for winter. And the second one I did my first night ride of 2020. I'm sure there'll be many more of those to come. But in the summer I can go up to as many as 4 or 5 rides a week. It all depends on what's happening and things like the weather and things. What has been your top thing learned over the past year from mountain biking or making content? Yeah, that's definitely time management. It's prioritising what I do and when I do it. Between sort of working full time and dealing with the pandemic and things, you know, riding for myself, making videos for you guys, you know, it's all really busy and it's difficult to strike that balance sometimes. It's something I'm still learning, but that's definitely something I have been more aware of as I've been making YouTube videos. Are you going to do more upgrades on your hardtail now that you have a new bike? Yes, definitely. I've been promising the Voodoo Bazango upgrades video to a few of you guys on Instagram for a month or so now. It is in the pipeline. It's something I just need a tiny bit more time to do and then it'll be finished, but I promise you it is on the way. Yeah, the Voodoo Bazango, it's been here the whole time the channel has. It's starting to get a bit rough around the edges. It needs a bit more maintenance, but it will continue to be part of the channel for as long as possible. So back to YouTube for another question.
So, Ollie, do you think, for all the people out there that are watching this and haven't yet got a bike, do you think it's preferential for them to actually start on a hardtail?
Yeah, that's a good one. I think there's a huge debate in mountain biking about hardtails and full suspension bikes, but I mean, I have both and I use them for different types of things. They're different tools to make the most out of the trail you ride. Like most people, I started on a hardtail, and I still own one now that I ride regularly. Don't get me wrong, I have an awesome full suspension bike and I really enjoy riding it, but I think as a new rider, there's a lot you can learn from hardtails. I think if you start on a full suspension bike, it gives you a lot of leeway, and the bike itself can get you out of a lot of situations, especially if it has, a lot of travel, big 29-inch wheels. Whereas on a hardtail, you don't have that advantage. You need to sort of pick your line differently and learn how to actually ride. So I think you learn a lot more of the fundamentals by starting on a hardtail. But that's just me. What other sports do you do and what made you start mountain biking? I enjoy a number of sports. I really like the outdoors. I've done a lot of rock climbing in my past. I still surf quite a lot. I run, cycle. I pretty much turn my hand to almost anything really. I think it's great to have a huge number of sports. It means you're quite well rounded. But I definitely spend most of my time mountain biking. The reason I chose mountain biking is because it's fun and it's fast. There's nothing better than being outdoors, boosting down some single track and moving your body on your bike, avoiding trees and things. Brilliant sport. Do you prefer 27.5 or 29-inch wheels? Yeah, this is another one of those love-hate things for mountain bikers. Both my bikes at the moment are 29ers, my Cube Stereo and the Voodoo Bazango. And I do think 29ers are faster in terms of straight line speed and over sort of small bumps and routes and things. However, for my next bike, I think I'm going to go back down to 27.5. I find that 29ers are just a bit too sluggish in the corners for me in my style of riding. I think I'd be a lot quicker over the whole trail if I'm just a bit quicker around the corners. I find 27.5s just a bit more playful and enjoyable. So that's just relevant for me in my style of riding. You may ride completely differently to me and prefer 29ers. They may be just your thing. So once again, it's horses for courses. So last question, what has been the best part of having a YouTube channel? Yeah, without a doubt, it's the people, it's you guys. It's meeting like-minded people, it's riding with a few of you guys, it's all the comments I get from Facebook, Instagram, on the YouTube section. I love chatting to you guys and sort of building this community of riders. I honestly get a ton of messages and I try to get back to everyone as quick as possible. With life and work and things, sometimes that doesn't happen as quickly as I'd like. But whether you've interacted by just watching a video, clicking the thumbs up on a video, or getting into contact, thanks so much. You guys make the channel what it is today. So that was a quick Q&A. Thanks so much for tuning in. Next week we'll be back on the bike doing what we do best. So until then, don't do anything I wouldn't do, and I'll see you next week.
I've got a question for you, mate. Obviously, as your channel is growing and it's getting more and more popular, do you have any stories where someone's recognised you? Any like kind of funny situations where you felt a little bit awkward about?
Yeah, we'll save that for next time.